A group of four friends decided to go on a vacation to an old, remote cabin deep in the woods. The cabin was rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a woman named Eleanor, who had disappeared there decades ago under mysterious circumstances. On their first night, as they sat around the fireplace telling stories, they heard strange noises outside, whispering voices, faint footsteps, and a chilling breeze that made the flames flicker. Ignoring the warnings from local legends, they decided to explore the woods the next day. As they wandered deeper into the forest, they found an abandoned, dilapidated house that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Inside, they discovered old, dusty photographs of Eleanor and strange symbols carved into the walls. Suddenly, the air grew icy cold, and a ghostly figure of Eleanor appeared, her eyes hollow and pleading. Terrified, the friends tried to flee, but the forest seemed to twist and turn, trapping them in a never-ending maze. One by one, they were picked off by unseen forces, disembodied whispers, shadowy figures lurking just out of sight. The last survivor, trembling and desperate, found her way back to the cabin, only to realize that the door was now sealed shut. In the end, she was never seen again. The cabin sat silent and dark, and the legend of Eleanor grew more sinister. The ghostly woman had claimed her final victims, and the forest kept its dark secret, warning any future travelers to stay away, lest they suffer the same terrible fate. And so, the vacation that promised adventure ended in tragedy, with no one left to tell the tale, except the whispering winds through the haunted woods. Once, there was a couple named Sarah and Mark who decided to escape the city for a peaceful vacation in a quaint, isolated village nestled deep in the mountains. They found an old inn, rumored to be centuries old, with a dark history that locals avoided talking about. On their first night, as they settled in, strange things began to happen. Doors creaked open on their own, cold drafts swept through the rooms, and faint whispers echoed in the darkness. Sarah, feeling uneasy, dismissed it as old house noises, but Mark had a strange feeling of being watched. The next evening, they explored the nearby woods and stumbled upon an abandoned chapel. Inside, they found faded, torn photographs of villagers and a strange blood-red stain on the altar. Suddenly, the air grew thick with malevolent energy. Shadows flickered across the walls, and a ghostly figure of a woman in tattered white appeared, her face twisted in anguish, eyes hollow and pleading. Panicked, they tried to leave, but the path back to the inn had vanished. The woods seemed alive, twisting and shifting. The ghostly woman reached out with icy fingers, her mournful wails filling the night as she dragged Sarah into the darkness. Mark screamed, but he was soon enveloped in the same shadowy void. The next morning, the villagers found no trace of Sarah or Mark. The inn was silent, with its windows broken and door ajar. No one ever returned to that cursed place, and the legend of the haunted inn grew darker with each passing year. To this day, travelers report hearing ghostly screams and seeing shadowy figures near the old inn, warning others to stay away. But those who ignore the warnings often vanish without a trace, lost forever to the vengeful spirits of the mountain. A young woman named Sarah decided to spend her solo vacation at a cozy bed and breakfast in a small, remote town known for its old, historic buildings. She was drawn by its charm and quiet atmosphere, but soon, strange things started happening. On her second night, she awoke to the sound of soft footsteps outside her room. She thought it was the host or another guest, but when she looked out, the hallway was empty. Over the next few days, she noticed her belongings moved slightly, whispers echoing in the quiet night, and cold spots that seemed unnaturally intense. One evening, she decided to investigate the basement, which was off-limits and said to be haunted by the previous owner, an elderly man who had mysteriously died there years ago. As she descended the stairs, she felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The basement was cold, dark, and filled with old, dusty furniture and forgotten relics. Suddenly, she saw a figure in the corner, an elderly man with hollow eyes, staring at her silently. Before she could scream, he reached out with trembling hands, whispering her name. She tried to run, but the door slammed shut behind her. The last thing she remembered was the feeling of icy fingers grabbing her ankle and pulling her down into the darkness. The next morning, the innkeeper found her missing. Despite searching, there was no sign of her, only a cold, empty basement and her belongings untouched. Rumors spread that the house was built on land with a dark history, and that the restless spirit of the old owner still haunted it, claiming new victims. Sarah was never seen again. Her disappearance remains a mystery, but locals warn visitors to stay away from the old house, for some spirits are better left undisturbed, and some victims are never found.